Welcome to another live stream, everybody. Thank you all for joining me this fine evening. If I could just get a quick audio visual check before I get started, please and thanks. Now, most importantly, how is everybody doing today? How's everybody feeling about the market today? Bitcoin, as well as many altcoins, have been seeing some pretty exciting price action ever since the election. And I've been out of town for the last few days, but I wanted to squeeze in a real quick live stream to give you guys my current thoughts on the market, a few things I'm watching for, et cetera, et cetera. I've actually just about 15 minutes ago or so, I did end up taking a new long on Doge. That's one altcoin that I am looking to continue trading for the next little bit. Because with everything around the election, with Elon getting involved with politics, all that sort of thing, I just feel like that's one coin that I can't ignore at this point. And with volatility, with the markets looking as good as they have been, with Bitcoin finally breaking that 8-month resistance that we had at all-time highs. Everyone's getting so horny to short this. I honestly, that's something I want to talk about in a little bit here. Like I said, this will be a very short video, but basically the way I see it, Bitcoin finally got that, the blue skies, got the green light to carry on higher. The election uncertainty is gone. Yes, obviously this won't last forever, but I think Bitcoin in general is in a very nice position. Altcoins have been breaking very serious structure levels. And honestly, with Bitcoin being so healthy, I mean, altcoins are starting to play catch up and that sort of thing. So yeah, one on my radar is Doge. I mean, well, just as I was giving that little intro here, this position is absolutely flying. Fantastic. I have a couple trigger stops in place, so I will lock in half my position, the rest at break even. But I'm actually going to close a quarter of my position right now just because it's been pumping so good the last 3 or so minutes. So just give me 1 second here. Really wasn't expecting it to just take off right there, but you know what? I'm just going to make sure I lock some in. And I am also going to adjust these orders, just making them a little bit smaller. Actually, I'm going to remove this one here. I'm going to keep my stop at break even, but I am going to lock in more of my position if we do end up losing some of this structure. But I'm hoping we set some new structure a little bit higher. I'll keep you updated live as that happens here. I have about 15-20 minutes here to kill. So how is everybody feeling about the market? I know a lot of people should be very excited that Bitcoin finally broke out. I want to go over some of the previous things I was warning about, things that I was being cautious about. But all those things have disappeared. And I spoke of that the last couple streams I did here, as well as some of my personal streams. This shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. I mean, guys, something that's very interesting is the market retail is still very short heavy. And I shouldn't even say still, just retail is all of a sudden quite short heavy. I don't often see retail longs significantly smaller than the shorts. And I find that very interesting because something to consider is as we were approaching this resistance, this all-time high resistance for 8 months, I was warning that I was cautiously bearish. Honestly, I was very vocally bearish as we approached that level, basically as we were between 68 and 70K. But I was very clear about that. That was just a level of caution for me. We ended up breaking that resistance, and that is the last red flag basically was lifted for me. Looking at the weekly chart, another thing I was worried about was I had the sell signal on the weekly chart with my ALGO master indicator. We ended up invalidating that. We got a nice big green candle close above that, got a new higher buy signal. And it's interesting that, as this was resistance, everybody was telling me how foolish it was to be bearish. And I mean, again, I was cautiously bearish. I was just bearish as we approached resistance. That's totally fine. But it's interesting that now so many people are starting to try and short this market. And to me, that just seems like so many people missed this move to the upside. and they're desperately trying to short it back down. And what that also tells me is, even though people were laughing at me for being cautiously bearish at these resistance levels, it seems to me that even though people were bullish on this, I don't know if they played it wrong or what, but it just seems like there's a lot of desperation to be shorting this market right now. And I mean, you can just tell that the market PTSD is real, because I mean, nobody wants to give this pump any time to happen. And yes, obviously there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, it's going to be very volatile. But that's totally normal. But the fact is that we were struggling at this resistance for, like I said, 8 months. I mean, from March until we finally broke it in November. That's a very significant resistance. It was resistance for a long time. And within 3 days after breaking it, people were already saying that, oh, that's it. Hey, we're showing some consolidation above resistance. We may as well get bearish for some reason. So, I mean, this consolidation above resistance, that was absolutely beautiful. And it was very clear, especially right after the election. It was very clear we were going to continue to the upside. Right now, yes, okay, there's a little bit of weakness. We saw a red candle. Here's my thing with this, is this actually confirms that we have a new higher low. This is very micro analyzing, but it is the daily chart. And this is kind of that market structure I go over. I go over in every stream, just kind of showing that, as we break those levels, where I'm pulling up my higher low, basically confirming those higher lows. I would like to see a candle close in the next 22 minutes here above this yellow box that I have outlined. We do that, and I mean, it looks so nice to me that just rather than going straight to the upside, we're actually building some structure there, and that's a very important thing to consider, because even if we see a pullback at that point, come back down, as long as the bullish trend holds, we would like to see some support come into play here. So at least we have some structure in the charts now, rather than, this little climb to the upside. We didn't really have anything, but this little pause here, as insignificant as it looks, that is building some structure for us. So yeah, I see no reason to be panicking in this market at this point. The trend is your friend until the end. And we just have a beautiful trend. And I mean, we can look back at previous market cycles when we've broken all-time highs and stuff like that. I mean, we get very nice trends to the upside. So yeah, of course this one could be different, but there's so many things lining up to the upside. Yes, there's going to be pullbacks, like I said, but for me personally, I would rather just, secure my profits. If we start breaking structure to the downside, that's when I start locking in profits on my positions. I am more of a scalper myself, so I am always taking profits quickly on my positions and updating stop losses. But yeah, I have no intentions of shorting. I see comments, Bear Stew is back to jinx us. Honestly, Stu Bear is in hibernation right now. Yes, I still look at some bearish Stuber fibs and stuff like that. Honestly, at this point in this cycle, they're more used for take profits on my longs than anything. I'm not desperate to catch a short right now, because that just goes, I don't want to stand in front of this train right now. I would much rather wait for the downside to cool off and then get into some new long positions. And that's exactly what I did with Doge here. I was actually hoping for a bigger pullback. I was eyeing up, like I said, a Stuber fib. Basically, I was looking at, okay, you know what? We broke some structure, and this is, yes, it's the 1 minute, but for as far as the scalp goes, I was hoping that we would end up pulling back to the 786, 886, but it just hasn't happened. So as far as this swing goes, I'm just basically chasing the price. And, I would love to get into some long positions down here again if I get the opportunity. But this isn't to say that I think we're going down here. It's just saying that if we do, I want to be ready to start looking for reasons to go long, basically. The reason I went long prematurely, I never did wait for that pullback, is because this is another strategy I talk about on these streams all the time. I really like to notice which way these buy and sell signals are trending on the ALGO master indicator. And basically this higher buy signal was just a warning sign to me that, hey, you know what? Start watching this trend. If we end up getting a nice retest of it, then maybe it's time to start swinging at some longs. And that's exactly what we got here. Yeah, we faked out below, but we ended up closing a green candle right above that trend. That was just basically my signal. Nice tight invalidation down here. And that's basically what led me to take this this long. So other than that, I mean, like I just showed at the very start of this stream, already taking some profits, got a beautiful move on this. This is a 25x. Let me just double check what my profit's sitting at on my other device here. I am currently in a, let this load, 91.7% profit on this trade. So to close a quarter of it, just on this little pump here, no regrets from that. It's all profit on this trade at this point. So yeah, honestly, I'm feeling good about altcoins right now. Yes, Bitcoin looks absolutely fantastic, but a lot of altcoins are starting to break structure. And like I said, especially things with Doge that have a whole, you know, I don't normally trade fundamentals, but this is something I'm willing to consider, at least consider the fundamentals, and then looking for those chart setups as well when I'm actually entering the trades. You know, just another good example of altcoins breaking their structure is this is one that I was watching. And again, with the ALGO master on the daily time frame, got these buy signals. Not only that, but a higher buy signal, very slightly, but it is higher. And, you know, on some of these low cap coins, when I get those daily or 4-hour signals, I mean, I take them very seriously. You get some very big moves. And that's exactly what happened here. On top of those buy signals, we obviously broke some, basically this range here. I mean, we had a very well-established resistance level here, broke above, came back for a bit of a retest. If I bring up my volume delta indicator showing the point of control here, we also reclaimed that. So, and just off to the races. So already hit 2 of my targets there. I actually outlined this one on my Twitter fairly early. The next day we got 115% candle or something. So altcoins have been very interesting, and there's, you know, they've caught my eye for now. I'm loving trading the altcoins for now, and I'm probably going to continue for the next little while. But yeah, all in all, Bitcoin looks good as well. Again, just another example of a Stuber fib. I saw this one late. I never did catch this one, but just another perfect example of how well those 786s are respected when we get some sort of a structure break like this. So beautiful setups. I'm going to be looking for those. Like I said, I'm not really interested in finding bearish ones right now for obvious reasons, because I just don't think it's a shorting market right now. Probably for the next several months, honestly. I mean, we'll have to see what structure does. We start dropping some daily higher low levels, or even 4 hours. You know, I'm going to start to be a little bit more cautious, but so far so good. Another thing I was outlining on the daily is I wanted to see the RSI get overbought. I know a lot of people like to think that, oh, this is overbought, that means we're topped. The RSI is often misunderstood. It's the relative strength index. So when we're way up here, as long as it's an uptrend, that's a shit ton of buying pressure. Whereas, yes, if we're in a significant violent downtrend and we end up hitting this overbought conditions, then yes, absolutely, I'll consider it overbought. But in an uptrend like this, as we're smashing all-time highs, that's beautiful. I was just itching to see that. I would start to get a little bit cautious if, you know, we break back down into regular territory, form some sort of a double top with a big ass bearish divergence, something like that. Yeah, at that point, I'll start being a little bit more cautious with how the RSI looks. But as it looks right now, I'm just not all too concerned. Obviously, smash through that lower high signal. That was another thing. One of the last signals, warning signs that I had from a bearish perspective, smashed through that. ALGO master just printing higher buy signals. Every single one of these higher buy signals, just an absolutely phenomenal entry. So another reason why I absolutely love bringing those up. It's not so much that I take every individual signal on its own, although on the larger time frames like this, yes, I often get very nice signals. But I really like to use them as a second opinion of, hey, is this trend as clear as I think it is right now? And to see these indicators, you know, higher trending sell signals, I'm not taking those sell signals all too seriously, but the higher trending buy signals, absolutely I am. So things are still looking absolutely beautiful there. If these MDX ALGO indicators do interest you, I've been using them every single day for over 2 years now. There's a link down below that gives an additional 10% discount on top of current promotions at the MDX ALGO checkout. Again, easily my favorite indicators on TradingView. But yeah, that's kind of one of the ways I use them. And as well, one of the reasons why I ended up getting in this long position on Doge down here, just really just 15 or so minutes before starting this stream here. So yeah, how is everybody feeling about the market right now? Bitcoin, altcoins, I don't care. Everything. Is everybody full on moon boy at this point? Are you some of the people who are, let's say, maybe starting to worry, having a little bit of market PTSD? Because nobody really wants to give this trend any breathing room. Everybody is so desperate. As soon as we break any structure to the downside, everyone wants to start shorting again. Even though, yes, those structure breaks, like I said, I'm looking at starting to take profits. I don't necessarily think that shorting is a good idea. I mean, for me personally, if it's working for you, obviously do what works for you. Everyone has their own trading styles and strategies that work for them. Just for me, it's hands off on the shorts right now. And I know that's shocking to a lot of you because I was a perma bear for a couple of months there. But that Stu Bear is in hibernation at this point. I am a moon boy just like everybody else at this point. But yeah, things are looking great to me at this point. Just want to, let's see what some indicators are saying on Bitcoin here. Volume delta. So we have our point of control is down around 89.5, 89.6K. This is just on the 1 minute. Changes depending what time frame I'm looking at. What is the ALGO master indicator? Yeah, so we got a higher printed sell signal followed by a higher buy signal. So as long as this trend holds, really as long as we're holding above that 89.5 at this point, I'm going to remain bullish here. But Doge, if we start closing below this, basically my buy trend here, I'll probably actually look to scale out of another quarter of my position. And at that point, I would probably actually remove this order and just leave the second half running. What else? One other thing I wanted to go over. I wanted to check Ethereum versus Bitcoin. I know Ethereum's been doing quite well too. Actually, let's check out Ethereum on its own versus the dollar first. Let's bring up the daily chart. So yeah, honestly, to me, it looks like Ethereum still has some more catch up to do, right? I mean, Bitcoin smashed all-time highs, and a lot of these altcoins, and I don't know if I really consider Ethereum an altcoin necessarily, but it has catch up to do, right? It still has not broke all-time highs. It's still quite a ways. I think it was on one of my streams on this channel, I pointed out this Stuber fib. Look how perfectly we ended up filling that 786886 box. And on top of that, then getting a higher buy signal, just confirming things. But yeah, this was an absolutely beautiful setup there. So hopefully some of you guys were able to catch that. I want to take a look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin here. Oh, we actually ended up dropping back down, hey? So I was really hoping to see a nice breakout, flip this resistance into support and take off from there. But just, yeah, Bitcoin's outperforming Ethereum still at this point, I suppose. That being said, this chart is starting to get near support here. Again, just looking at this as a classic Stuber fib setup, we had all this, even if we went to this structure up here, obviously broke some sort of a lower high. If we look where we're trading at right now, I mean, very close to our 886. It is looking weak. I mean, we're going to have to see, I guess, what this does. I wouldn't enter a trade on Ethereum based solely off this anyways. Maybe something, actually, I want to check out Bitcoin dominance too real quick. See, so Bitcoin dominance is actually flying. That's interesting because some altcoins are still absolutely flying as well. Something to consider is I really like to see the Bitcoin dominance flying at the start of the next phase of our bull market, let's call it. The fact that the emphasis is on the king of crypto, right? So to see the price going up and that dominance climbing, it just, rather than showing fear in the market, like a lot of people look at Bitcoin dominance for, is to me, it just looks like focus is on the head honcho here. So not looking too bad. I mean, it looks like we've flipped this volume delta point of control here. Great to see that. If we end up dropping back down below, then yeah, maybe we start targeting these levels down here. But so far, not too bad. If Bitcoin all of a sudden, starts setting higher highs, higher lows, something like that, and then ends up dropping some structure like that, as long as the price doesn't absolutely tank, like nothing has spooked the markets, but Bitcoin dominance just kind of drops while Bitcoin trades sideways. At that point, I think altcoins are going to be just absolutely beautiful trading. They will be on an absolute moon mission in that case, in my opinion. So that's something to watch for sure. Got a little sell signal here on the indicator. Again, much higher sell signal, so I'm not taking it all too serious. If anything, yeah, if we drop this yellow line here, I'm actually going to set a trigger. I think that will get hit, but I just want to make sure I lock in a little bit more profits if we end up dropping that. I'm just going to change that on my other device here real quick. There we go. So yeah, nothing to worry about on this position, just beautiful profits at this point. So love to see it. I just want to catch up on some of the comments here. I know this was a very last minute stream, and I know it is a very short one. Like I said, I've been out of town for a few days. I wanted to squeeze one in real quick here today, as I will be streaming elsewhere tomorrow. So I won't have time, but hopefully I'll be back on the weekend. But yeah, just wanted to give my quick thoughts on the market basically. But yeah, let me just catch up on some chat here. Hopefully you're all enjoying this. I know, like I said, short video, but if you appreciate the way I look at the markets, the way I look at structure, checking out my indicators, all that sort of stuff, and look forward to more streams in the future, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the Financial Summit as well. If you want to make sure you catch my streams, I also have my own channel. I have my socials down below. Like I said, sometimes I'm sharing stuff on Twitter and stuff like that as well. But yeah, things are looking good in my opinion. As far as Bitcoin, altcoins, everything just really looks good to me. Even when we get those pullbacks, I don't care. I've had some friends ask me, as soon as the price, I can't remember where it was, like 88K, whatever, there ended up being a small bump in the road and instantly getting messages. Oh, did you catch the short? No, I'm not trying to catch a short. Honestly, I don't care. We could drop down to 70K really quickly, and I wouldn't feel like I missed the short all that much. I would just, if anything, if structure breaks, I would like to short the retest. Rather than just trying to blind YOLO short against, well, like I called it before, a train. I mean, there's so much momentum to the upside right now that I really don't want to ignore that. Especially with the way this candle looks like it's going to close in the next 5 minutes. Really, as long as we can hold above this kind of candle of indecision here, as long as we can hold above that, I'm feeling very good on the markets. If we end up closing tomorrow's candle red below this yellow box, yeah, I'll have my concerns and I'll start being a little bit more cautious. But I just don't see any reason to panic at this point. And apparently a lot of people are, for some reason, or just desperate to catch that reversal, desperate to catch every move. When you don't necessarily need to do that. So I'm just looking for those better setups to the upside, if anything. Looks like I'm going to lock in that other quarter on my Doge setup here. Very close. Any second now, that should be triggered. But let's see what happens. Maybe I get lucky and it was perfectly placed. Who knows? Realistically, I probably should have had it below this structure here. I just wanted to just make sure I take what I can get, kind of a thing here, and still have half the position running with break-even stops. So really nothing to worry about there. Snagged some AVAX. Nice. That's one I haven't looked at AVAX in quite a while. Maybe in my next stream. Next stream, remind me when I have more time. I wouldn't mind checking out some more altcoins. I'll take some altcoin requests and that sort of thing. Sorry, I don't really have time today. Would like some clarification on this. We are 33% above the 20-week moving average. The highest we've ever been is 52% in 2017. Yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, yes, we may see a pullback back to that moving average. For example, I personally don't use the 20-week moving average. I use my these indicators, so I actually don't use like the typical moving averages or whatever. Just a personal choice. But even if we are going, if we get overextended and we are going to go back and test that moving average, for example, I just don't have that desperation where I want to try and short that down. I would rather look for a long at that level, at that support, rather than trying to short down to that level. Yeah, BTC dominance still rising. Absolutely. Been in for a while. DCA slowly. Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're just dollar cost averaging into these markets, I mean, you should be sitting pretty good right now, unless you stopped buying in the bear market or whatever. I know a lot of people DCA at the market highs and they think they're DCAing. And then as soon as the market really shits on them, they get scared and don't want to buy anymore when it's a 50% discount. And then the next market cycle, they wonder, well, why are they still in a loss when, the market's near all-time highs again? So as long as you're doing the dollar cost average method, in my opinion, dollar cost average should be more of a price level thing rather than a timing thing. It should be, every so whatever increments you decide you want to do. I personally think that the limit orders should go on the way down rather than being like, oh, I'm going to buy this time, this week, next week, the week after. To me, it just makes more sense to do the dollar or the value rather. But everyone has their own methods, what works for them, right? Looks like I may have got lucky with this stop loss. Just hasn't quite hit. So that was not skill. That's all luck. Make no mistake, but I'll take it. I'm going to hope that we continue the trend to the upside. But yeah, that's basically what I'm looking at. I know, guys, very short video, very short live stream here. Like I said, in the next couple of days, I really want to get a good proper one going with altcoin requests and all that sort of thing. But as far as right now goes, I think that's about all I have time for today. Like I said, streaming elsewhere tomorrow, but I will try and check in this weekend. Hopefully you found this stream useful. If so, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And again, if these MDX Algo indicators do interest you, there's a link down below that gives that additional 10% discount on top of current promotions at checkout. And once again, easily my favorite indicators on Tradingview. I've been using these every day for, I think, well, damn near 2.5 years now. I think it was 2 years in July. So I've been using them for quite a while and they keep getting better. The programmers, the people who create these indicators, they take the community feedback quite seriously and they are constantly updating them, making nice changes to them, et cetera, et cetera. But that's basically my thoughts on the current crypto market. I think everything looks great. Obviously, that can change. If structure changes, so will my opinion. But as it stands right now, everything is just looking juicy to me. So and even, with retail being so short heavy right now, that's just, in my opinion, that's more rocket fuel for the upside. That's just more liquidity to get squeezed to the upside. So I love to see it. But yeah, anyways, legends, I think that's about all I have time for today. Again, hit that like button and subscribe. And I do have my socials down below as well. So check them out as well. I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.